Hello, everyone. Today, we will be starting our course, Mobile Computing. And the first topic that we'll be starting with is the introduction of mobile computing. Mobile computing is a technology that allows anytime, everywhere, or anywhere computing. That means that we need to compute certain things, and that can be done at any moment, at any place, or at any location. That mobile computing allows transmission of data, voice, and video via a computer or any wireless enabled device. In mobile computing, it is free from having a connection from a fixed physical link. There is no fixed physical link. All the transmissions are made possible through a wireless means of mode, and it facilitates the user to move from one physical location to another during the process of communication also. Like we do not have to be standing or sitting at a particular position and make the communication possible from there only, because the network access is not possible in normal computation. But in mobile computing, the network access or the Wi-Fi, that is the wireless network, is available at every time. So the computation and the communication is possible from everywhere and anywhere. Another point is that it transmits data from the remote location to the other remote location or any fixed locations. So it is not a location constraint computing. So the data or the required information can be communicated at any location or place. There are certain existing cellular technologies that were used before the mobile computing. One is the analog technology, which was used in the period of 1980s, years of 80s. And in this technology, they used to compute the things from the analog signals, and using the hardware setups and the machineries which were located at a certain places, and based on that they tried to make the computation possible. Another technology which came into existence in year 1990 and continued thereafter was the digital cellular technology, that is a GSM. That was basically the communication process, like in the mobile phones that we use today, the cellular technology that we use today was developed from that moment, in which the signals were converted into a digitalized form, and based on that the communication was made possible. Now we will further discuss the concept of mobile computing. As you can see that mobile computing has various certain components. One is the mobile communication, another one is the mobile hardware and mobile software. First, we will start with the mobile communication. Mobile communication is further segregated into four parts. One is through fixed and wired mode. Another is fixed and wireless mode. And third is mobile and wired mode. And fourth is mobile and wireless mode. So fixed and wired mode. What is fixed and wired mode? The devices in this are fixed at a position, and they are connected through a physical link to communicate with other devices. That means they have the wired connection in between the devices to make the communication possible. For example, you can see the desktop computers we have. These are connected using the wires, and we can transfer the information from one computer to another or one desktop to another via the means of the physical link. Another communication is possible in case of fixed and wireless communication. Here, the devices are fixed at a certain position, and they are connected through a wireless link to make communication with each other. For example, the communication towers or the Wi-Fi routers, they are located at a certain fixed position. We cannot move them from one place to another, But at the same time, the connection or the communication between them is possible through a wireless link. Third possible communication is mobile and wired. In this possible communication, some devices are wired and some are mobile. They together make a communication with each other. For example, we have laptops and the desktops. In some cases, they are fixed at a certain location and they cannot be movable from one place to another. And at some places, they are able to be moved from one place to another with the Wi-Fi access and be able to transfer or communicate with each other, transfer data and communicate with each other. Next possible mode of communication is mobile and wireless. In this type of communication, the devices can communicate with each other irrespective of their position, and they can also connect to each other without using any kind of wired device. For example, we have the mobile phones with us in the today's scenario, and we also have the tablets with us. So all these devices can perform the computation, collect the data, and also transmit the data between transmit the data and make the communication possible between the two devices with the help of a wireless link. Next, we come to the mobile hardware. Mobile hardware consists of the mobile devices or the device components that can be used to receive or access the service of mobility. Some of the mobile hardware can be listed here and are described here. That may be a portable computers, personal digital assistant or PDA, enterprise digital assistant or EDA, ultra mobile portable computer, then laptops. We have the smartphones, tablet computers, wearable computers, e-readers. These are the mobile hardware that are the devices which can be moved from one place to another and that make the possible communication. Then we have the mobile software, which is a program that runs on the mobile hardware, which makes the communication possible and the data readability. They are designed to deal capably with the characteristics and the requirements of the mobile applications. For example, if a mobile phone is capable of capturing a higher quality of picture and capturing a few sensor data, so the software will be designed in such a manner that it is able to access all the sensors and the camera. Next, an operating system for the appliance of the mobile device is developed in the mobile software. So a mobile software is basically the heart of the mobile system. This is an very essential component that operates the mobile devices and tries to make the mobile computing possible. Finally, we look into what are the advantages of the mobile computing. First is that it is very small, cheap, and portable from one location to another. We do not have to stick at a particular location and make the communication possible. Second is that it has more computing power because of its small architecture. It has the higher computation power. Also, it is a lightweight and low power consumption devices, as the devices are the software and the hardware are not very heavy computed things. So the power consumption of these devices are very low. Another advantage of the mobile computing is that no user interface can be embedded at any moment and at any time due to the small dimension. Not much changes or heavy changes are required. Next advantage is that with the smaller interface and the small dimension, more bandwidth of data can be transmitted with the low power. Also, multiple wireless technologies can be embedded into such devices for the computation. One major advantage of the mobile computing is that the device and the user location awareness, that if we are holding the device and the user is holding a device at a particular location, we can detect the location of the user and make the communication to the nearby devices possible. Now we will look into the applications possible in case of the mobile computing. First application is regarding the web or internet access. Earlier, we were not able to access the internet because of the fixed location of the internet at a certain location. But nowadays, the internet facilities are wirelessly communicated from one location to another, and it is available throughout the areas. Second, in the vehicles, because the small devices which are embedded in the vehicles and the sensors which are present in the mobile phone can capture the characteristics of the vehicles and make the autonomous driving possible and at a very good accuracy. Another application is for the emergency services. Whenever we have the earthquakes or droughts or tsunamis, cyclones, etc. happening, with the help of such devices or mobile computing, the estimation for the damage and the estimation for the severity can be made possible through the mobile computing. Another application is from the business point of view. Many business architectures or modeling have been developed using the mobile computing. Many gaming zones or gaming architectures are augmented reality, virtual reality are being used or developed on the basis of mobile computing itself. Another major application, as we discussed, is about the location dependent services. For example, if we are located at a particular location and we want to access the if we want to access the amount of population in a particular area, or the people who are vaccinated from the pandemic from the pandemic which are currently happening, we can access such services based on the mobile computing wirelessly. Another major application is regarding the education services, as many of the education platforms are changing from offline to online modes, and that is also feasible from the perspective of mobile computing, as the information and data is communicated with the help of the mobiles. There are different names of mobile computing that can be called as pervasive computing, ubiquitous computing, nomadic computing, virtual home environment, and global service portability. Thank you. This was for the today's lecture.